morning. Happy Tuesday. Today's February the 4th. My name's Dave Smith. I'm your host of Hoops Talk with Dave, and we've got some great stuff to recap here from the NBA and college basketball last night, as well as an incredible college basketball day to preview. But first, let's start in the NBA. Not any major trades over the past 24 hours. It kind of feels like everything is quiet. Too quiet. Some news coming out that Jimmy Butler prefers only going to the Suns, and also that Kevin Durant is being shopped around in Phoenix Suns trade offers. So the Phoenix Suns are listening to offers on Kevin Durant, which is very interesting to see because we thought it would be Bradley Beal on the move, but could it be KD and Brad Beal? Could it be both? Could it be neither? Everything is still in play here as now we close in on that 48-hour mark away from the NBA trade deadline. Once again, if there's anything that major that happens, I'll come back. I'll bring you an emergency episode. You can also follow along on Twitter at Dave Smith NBA to get all the latest updates on everything happening NBA-wise. Checking in on some scores from around the association last night, Trae Young hitting a big-time fadeaway with 1.6 seconds to go. And this was a massive arc fadeaway here. The Hawks needed a win here. They got one at Detroit, 132-130. New York taking care of Houston at home. Jalen Brunson with 42 and 10. The Knicks won the fourth quarter by 17 points. They won the fourth quarter 46-29. Won the game 124-118 in Madison Square Garden. In Minnesota, Sacramento getting a big-time win here. Of course, they are headlined by that trading away of De'Aaron Fox, trading in of Zach LaVine. That trade not finalized yet, but we know Fox is not playing, and LaVine also not playing yet for Sacramento. DeMar DeRozan, 33 points here. Kings win 116-114. Over in Oklahoma City, the Thunder taking care of business, 125-96 behind 34 points from Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. The Thunder led by 30 points through most of this one, winning that one once again, 125-96. Out in Golden State, Andrew Wiggins and Steph Curry combining for 49 points to lead the Warriors to a 104-99 win over the Orlando Magic. Cole Anthony leading the way for the Magic with 26 points himself. Big win for Golden State. Now they get over 500, sitting at 25-24. A couple of really good NBA games on the slate tonight. A TNT doubleheader starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Cleveland playing host to Boston. The Celtics coming into town. Cleveland sitting as a 1.5-point favorite in this one, as these two teams sit 1-2 in the Eastern Conference, two of the top three records in the NBA. They've split the first two games, the home team winning both of them. Cleveland at home in this one. This one, 7:30 p.m. Eastern on TNT. And the second game of this doubleheader, Lakers, Clippers in LA. Clippers, 8.5-point favorites. This one, 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern on TNT. Over into college basketball now, a bad loss for the Pitt Panthers last night as they played host to the Virginia Cavaliers, who are below 500, and Virginia hung 73 on them, winning 73-57. That's a bad quad 3 loss for the Pitt Panthers at home. They did not need that one. They're now sitting outside the tournament, and it feels like it was not too long ago. It was about 9 or 10 weeks ago that the Pitt Panthers were ranked number 5 in the net. And of course, the net is not a ranking, it's a sorting tool. But they were sitting at that number 5 spot, and now they've moved all the way down and are now sitting outside of the tournament at the moment. According to most bracketologists, they're sitting outside the tournament. They'll need to really recover strong down the stretch, and they can't really afford to lose too many more games, especially in a weak conference like the ACC. Into the Big 12 here, our game of the night last night, Kansas, the Jayhawks, taking on the Iowa State Cyclones. Kansas winning this one 69-52. Kansas was up 35-19 at half. Never really looked back this game, never really got back in within double digits here. Kansas ran away once again 69-52. This marking the third straight loss for the Iowa State Cyclones. They dropped from number 3 to number 8 in the rankings after losing 2 games last week. They've now lost a third in a row. They'll look to get right on Saturday against TCU at noon. Looking at an incredible slate today here, starting with the game of the night in the Big East. Number 11, Marquette, moving to Madison Square Garden to take on number 12, ranked St. John. St. John sitting as a 2.5-point favorite at the moment. These are the two best teams in the Big East, by the way. There's UConn, in my eyes, is the number 3. I know UConn just beat Marquette, but I still think they're the third best team. These are the two best teams in the Big East. This is going to be a really fun game to watch. 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1. In the SEC, Ole Miss playing host to Kentucky, 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Ole Miss sitting as a 4.5-point favorite in this one. Looks like Kentucky will be getting guard Lamont Butler back in this one. Not officially official yet, but it appears so. Kentucky has lost 3 of their last 4 games. That'll be a welcome sight to have him back there to get their offensive efficiency back to where it needs to be, because when their offense is hitting, they're almost unbeatable. They'll need it in this one. Ole Miss sitting as a 4.5-point favorite. Once again, this one tips off at 7 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. Staying in the SEC for a couple of top 6 teams at home, Florida hosting Vanderbilt, 7 o'clock Eastern on SEC Network. The Gators sitting as a 12.5-point favorite. And then at 9 o'clock Eastern on SEC Network, 20-1 Auburn, the number one team in the country, playing host to the Oklahoma Sooners. Oklahoma is a 17.5-point underdog. The Tigers looking to take care of business there. Over in the Big Ten, 3 great Big Ten games tonight. Purdue on the road at Iowa, 7 o'clock Eastern on Peacock. The Boilermakers traveling to play the Hawkeyes. The Boilermakers sitting as a 7.5-point road favorite over the Hawkeyes. Iowa has fallen off the tournament radar. This would be a big-time win defending their home court to get back on that radar. Wisconsin playing host to Indiana, 17-5 Wisconsin. The Badgers sitting at 9.5-point favorites in this one, 9 p.m. Eastern tip-off on Peacock. And the third Big Ten game also on Peacock here, the Michigan State Spartans traveling to UCLA to take on the Bruins. Michigan State, of course, losing their win streak in their last contest. UCLA favored in this one as well. 10 o'clock Eastern on Peacock. And over into the Big 12 for our last couple of games to look out for tonight. Baylor on the road at Texas Tech. Both of these teams getting massive wins, of course, over Kansas and Iowa State in their last time out. Texas Tech playing host to the Baylor Bears. The Red Raiders are 8.5-point favorites in this one, 9 o'clock Eastern on ESPN2. And if you're up late tonight, Caleb Love and the Arizona Wildcats traveling to Provo, Utah to take on the BYU Cougars. BYU favored by 1.5 points in this one. A great home environment there for the Cougars. Should be a really fun one to watch. Arizona looking like they're starting to put it all together. This one, 11 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. And our final game of the night showing some mid-major love here. Boise State traveling to Las Vegas to take on the UNLV Rebels. Boise State a 3.5-point road favorite in this one. This one also tipping off at 11 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network. And that will wrap up today's episode of Hoops Talk with Dave. I'm your host, Dave Smith. Be sure to keep your ear to the ground as we now close in on that NBA trade deadline. There will be some big moves made. I'm sure the NBA feels really quiet right now, and we all know that's because chaos is coming. Once again, thank you for tuning in with us here. I'll be back to you tomorrow morning to recap all the action that goes down tonight.